Hey guys, today's a great day. It's October 21st and it's a Friday, and I think Battlefield 1 just came in the mail. So let's take a look. Whoa. Definitely is Battlefield 1. That's amazing. Let's open it up. Knife again. There it is. Alright guys, so the reason I'm making this video is to actually show you Battlefield 1 melee weapons in real life. Okay, so let's get started. The first thing is the bayonet. So basically, from what I know, World War I, the main weapon was the bayonet, and then soldiers started noticing that it has limited effectiveness. It is a nice melee weapon. It'll get the job done, but then soldiers had to use two hands with it, and then the guns at the time were really long as well, so moving around in the trenches, it was difficult for them if you have a really long weapon. Plus, you had to use both your hands. Both your hands had to be occupied. You had to charge with it, and if you were left wide open, if you missed your target, the person, you'd pretty much be left wide open and easily get hit. So that's where all of these other weapons came in. Now, these are the closest things I could find to the Battlefield 1 melee weapons. These aren't going to be the exact replicas. This is just stuff that I could easily find or make or cheaply buy, okay? So first off, we got the spiked club. Now technically this is not spiked, so the nails are basically facing inwards. I should have put it outwards, but I really had no way of doing that. This is just something I quickly made. It's the spiked club, the closest thing I could make. Okay, now these things are cool. So I was just talking about how the bayonets, they thought they weren't too effective, and then that's when these things came in, because this is just one-handed. You can just your other hand won't be occupied. You could block with it, you could grab with it, you could just grab one of these things and just keep on swinging with it. If you miss, you can bring your hand back and hit again, so multiple shots by the time you actually use the bayonet or miss with the bayonet. Okay, so let's test out the spiked club. Just went in. Damn. It's dangerous. In it, but yeah, you can tell this is not very well made. Next thing is the sword or the saber that we saw in Battlefield 1. You get these off of the horses. Really fun actually once you can get it off of the horse. But anyway, I'm using the cold steel cutlass machete for this test. Closest thing I could get. Okay, next up we got the Saber, a really deadly and really fun weapon to use in Battlefield 1. Let's test it out. Camera. Next up is the shovel, really cool weapon, one of my favorite weapons. It's pretty much the exact same thing. There's no difference between this shovel and the one in Battlefield 1. This is a cold steel special forces shovel, and basically at the beginning of the war they had these two little handles coming out of the side, and this was mainly because they thought of it as a digging tool. And then when soldiers noticed how it wasn't as effective as something like this, so they basically switched over from bayonets and they mainly started using this shovel as a melee weapon. And you can pretty much do anything with this. You can cut wood, you can actually cook on one of these if you had to. And then it's a super effective weapon because you can hit off of the side and you can use the front, hit them under the chin and stuff like that. Really nice weapon. Alright guys, so this is one of my favorite weapons, the shovel. This was used in World War I. It was used for digging as well as combat. So let's see what it does to this ice block. Next up is the trench club, or the modern day trench club. It's basically, you guys know what this is, it's a collapsible baton. And with the trench club, it's basically a wooden handle. It has a spring or like a coil type of thing as the shaft, and it has an iron ball. So that's pretty much what this is. Going to be using the baton for our test. Alright guys, so next up we have my version of the trench club. Now this took more than one shot to kill in Battlefield, and it was probably the same case in real life during World War I, because it's not the most effective weapon, but it's really simple, it's really good, so let's see how it does against this coconut. Need a heavier baton. Next up is the Mace. Now this is, I know it's kind of pretty much way off. The spiked Mace in Battlefield 1 had wooden handle with like a ball at the top with spikes on it. I couldn't get anything close to that, so I got this. This is basically kind of similar. It has the handle, it has like the shaft, and then it has like sort of spiked at the top, this area. Still pretty deadly. Okay, now next up we have the trench mace, which is a really scary and medieval looking weapon, so let's test it out. Next up is the knife. Okay, now in Battlefield 1 they have the trench knife, they have the survival knife, and they have the dagger for the Lawrence of Arabia dagger. So for this test I'm using the Smith & Wesson HRT fixed blade knife. I really wanted a trench knife. Those things are amazing, but it's basically a brass knuckle with a knife attached to it, and trench knives are illegal in Canada, so yeah, I couldn't get that. Okay, next up we got the knife. It's nice, light, and fast. Makes a great backup weapon. Next up is the pickaxe. That's another weapon in Battlefield 1. One of the most deadliest weapons in Battlefield 1, along with the hatchet and the spiked club. For this test, I'm going to be using the Cold Steel Vietnam Tomahawk. That's what it's called. Really nice, good quality. Pretty much the exact same thing as the pickaxe in Battlefield 1. Okay guys, next up we have the pickaxe. One of the deadliest weapons in Battlefield 1 and in World War 1. Try it out. Side. Let's keep going. And the last one is the hatchet. I'm using a Cold Steel Axe Gang hatchet. This is close enough, you know, a hatchet is a hatchet. Here's an overview of them again, and yeah, that's basically it. Okay, next up we got the knife. It's nice, light, and fast. Makes a great backup weapon.